windows.
You
So
knew
that's
this was
the
happening
sizes
yesterday,
they are.
Kyle.
Manny, I didn't even. I was actually trying to set up Jammer a new name tag for the two person studio because someone is like what 15 minutes late.
No, I'm not. It's 6:30.
Dude, we said 9:15
No, we did it.
Eastern time. Yes, we did. And we said 9:15. We said 9:30 for the review of the review of the rings. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, new podcast announced starting this weekend. Review of the Rings, our Lord of the Rings, the Rings of Power review series that we'll be doing. Anyways, guys, we got some things to get to, so let's hit it. Welcome to the Daily Cup of Genre. Welcome to LR Mornings. Welcome to both. We've got the co-hosts of both of those shows here today on the Genreverse podcast. Genreverse Podcast Network and YouTube channel. Be sure to follow us on your favorite podcast app, whatever you're listening to us on, or subscribe to the YouTube channel. And of course, check out lrmonline.com every day for all of your entertainment news, needs, and opinions. I'm Kyle Malone. I've got my Daily COG co-host, Manny Gomez, and we are joined by former editor-in-chief of lrmonline.com, author, and former co-host of LR Mornings, which is what this show spawned from, Joseph Jammer Medina. What's up, Jammer?
So I'm kind of disappointed because I thought you had just pitched a review of Wings, like the 90s sitcom show.
Oh, no.
That would have been amazing if we had got to revisit that. I think that
I was not a Wings
may
person.
That may have been the first show that I experienced where it's like it ended. It's like, oh, the show's ending and it's done. I think that may be the first one. I don't know what year it was where it ended. But I think that's my first memory, at least, of an actual series coming to an end.
No, it's much less enthralling. It's Lord of the Rings reviewing, so I hope it's optimistic about it.
I hope it's good. My main problem is I'm sure it'll be good on some level. I'm really hopeful. I'm not one of those people like, oh, it's gonna suck, But my main problem with it so far. And we've heard my opinion before on Breaking Geek, but essentially there's twofold. A, I don't know if I could tell the difference between the production design between this and Wheel of Time or any other sort of generic fantasy. B, the trailers are just like generic and like you don't really understand what is happening as far as like plot or who you care about or why.
That second trailer was really underwhelming. Manny, how are your feelings a couple of days before the show hits?
Is it a couple of days?
Yeah, it is.
It's Friday.
Friday
the 2nd.
I'm speaking with the cast. I am pretty excited. I am cautiously excited because I've seen what they've done to other series that they've decided to expand the lore of. Like, for example, Star Wars. More
How
is not always
comparable
better.
to Star Wars?
You put out so much content that it waters it down, and it's no longer as special as it is or was. And so, the Hobbit movies are not the greatest, obviously, compared to the three.
Agonizing.
It's they're different, but at the same time, it's not as much content, and you can almost, to some degree, even forget about them and just stick to the three, especially now with the extended editions, which are great. You're
talking about Lord of the Rings, right?
Yes, Lord of the Rings.
Okay, not the extended Hobbits, because I was about to say, dude, I don't want more of this.
I do not know how you extend that even further. You already
I don't know. There was already fluff,
and you expanded it to 3, but it makes me worried to think that now you're gonna almost start to pull out of the air in order to kind of fill in some story, and then also you're gonna want to continue on if it does well. I mean, they've spent so much money on it already. If we can't tell the difference between this and other fantasy series, that's automatically a red flag, because Wheel of Time was not that great.
But I'm talking about visually.
Exactly. Yeah. It needs.
I don't think it was that bad visually. I thought it was fine.
Oh, visually, it wasn't. It wasn't terrible. No.
No, it was fine. I agree. It was totally fine. It was more of just about like the style of it, like the world. Like if you had a couple shots between Wheel of Time in there, I'm not sure in terms of the world and how it looks, I would have been able to tell the difference between the two.
Fair
Which
enough, yeah.
is a problem, but it's not a deal breaker for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, fantasy sometimes is really tough to do anyway, because I mean, it's literally always new worlds, different takes on what the environment is, and creatures and different species or whatever. So yeah, cautiously optimistic. I hope it's good, and I guess we'll see, because I'm honestly, a lot of times don't pay too much mind to trailers, because sometimes I just want to give away the story, and that's okay, and plus I
actually have a huge problem with that. So obviously a lot of people are very much these days are like, oh, trailers, they give away too much. There are some trailers they don't give away enough, but my mind always goes back to Brave, where they didn't even reveal what the fucking plot was in the story. I'm like, okay, if I had known what the story was, I actually probably would have been more in line with what's happening, but you just kind of had vague magic stuff. And then,
there's some blue lights,
or whatever.
There's a red-headed archer, there's
a
bear.
I do feel that's a lot more rare, though. Because most of the time, a perfect example is last year's Halloween kills. Gave away all the kills.
The best kills.
The best kills of the movie are in that trailer. What was another one? I think it was, I just recently saw
Sony on everything they do.
The black phone trailer. It practically is the entire movie.
Oh, didn't know that.
I've heard that multiple.
If you watch
Sing is another one.
If you watch the Black Phone trailer, you practically watch the movie. There's no real surprise in that film because you've seen it all.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah. So anyway, that's the deal with trailers. For the most part, some of them are not very good. And then again, some of them just get you real hype. Using Staying Alive and Bullet Train, I thought was fun. And it kind of got you ready for that wacky adventure that they put Brad Pitt through. And then also the way that they marketed Bad Bunny in that, just to make sure the ladies went to go watch it, and then you find out he's only in the movie for 3 minutes. That was special. So,
but he's our next DC hero, or
Marvel.
No, is it Marvel? Is it Marvel?
Yeah.
See, I don't know the character.
Playing an
Luchador. Oh, no, the Matador. What's his name?
No,
the movie is it's El Muerto or something like that, isn't it? Like
the thing is, I'm 100% against that casting. So
I'm against it too.
Yeah, because this character
El Muerto.
El Muerto.
He's Mexican, not they could have cast a Mexican for this, because luchadors are traditionally Mexican. That's
is he not Mexican?
No, he's not.
Is Bad Bunny not Mexican? Nope. What is he? I don't know who this guy is. I think
it's Puerto Rican or Dominican, one of the two. Let's look it up.
Yeah, I can check that out.
Bad Bunny.
I just it's such a
it's Puerto Rican. Yeah.
It's such a disparate character, or not disparate. Such a what's the word I'm looking for? Far out there, unknown character. And then to have controversial, because you're not the only person I've heard mention that, Manny, to have some controversy behind the casting to go into it, and then you look at reports on Craven and Madam Web, and you're just like, man, Sony.
Oh, be careful. We've skewed into Sony territory. Kyle's lathering up.
Yeah, you know what? Before we do that, we were on a way to segue great into our guest Jammer's book by talking fantasy, and then we got derailed on trailers and then almost got derailed on Sony. But we are here to let Jammer shamelessly self-promote on this platform, which we love. We all like to shamelessly self-promote. City of Mages, Jammer, your new book, it's out right now, right? You can purchase it immediately.
Yeah, so it's actually pronounced City of Mages, and I'm not joking, because this is a specifically South American inspired.
Mages on Breaking Geek, though?
The thing is, I say that because people don't know what the fuck a mage is,
right?
Because it's a made up word, but it's essentially it's pronouncing the word mage, with I guess Latin flavor. So I'm ready for this moment where people they read the book and they're like, let me get the audiobook, and then they start listening to it and they're like, what the fuck? City of Mages? What's going on? Why is it called that? But yeah, if you go to magiabooks.com, MAGIA books.com, you can get it on hardcover, paperback, audiobook, and ebook. And you can also go to Amazon and get most of the versions there. Currently, it's not on Audible. I'm still deciding if I want to put it on Audible. We'll have to wait and see. But narrated wonderfully by Kim Ramirez. She does some miscellaneous roles and some TV shows, among other things. It is really hard finding a Latin, what's it called, a Latin narrator. Really hard, because you have, usually in indie books, you have the people who are, you know, the indie, really prolific indie narrators, but they're all white. And then if you have the Latin ones, they're like the ones that are for the big publishing houses that only work with the big publishing houses for like, you know, $500 per finished hour or something. So it's just like, it was really hard to find somebody. I'm really happy I found her. I think she did fantastic. So you should definitely check that out if you have a chance. Like it's great. And so it's a South American inspired story, or inspired world. You know, they're like llamas and just sort of all sorts of fun things.
Do they spit?
They don't spit in the story. We should definitely have a spitting llama at some point.
You need a llama spitting joke somewhere, man.
Yeah, but no, it's a story essentially about two girls. There's one who grew up in the city of Majes, so to speak, and one who grew up in an outskirts town, and essentially has been in hiding with her abilities, and kind of gets brought into this new world when she's discovered to have abilities, and kind of what devolves from there. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's been a good while in the making. We're already deep into the sequel, so yeah, it's a good time. Definitely check it out. Magiabooks.com, MAGIA books.com, or just search AJ Cerna on Amazon. It's on there as one of my books as well.
Outstanding, man. Manny, work your interviewer magic, man. Come on, ask him some good classic Manny interview questions.
Oh man, I haven't done this in a minute. No, I'm just kidding. So you know, what was it that really inspired you to take this world over to Latin America? Because I mean, I know it's very underserved. So let's begin with that.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is you know, I've thought about this for years. Like literally, I think I was thinking about Lord of the Rings. You know, which is personally, I hate to say it, I'm not a huge fan of the books. I appreciate the world building. The story and the characters aren't that great, but I understand the
Jammer
people
hates
love
world
about
building.
I hate exclusively world building.
I know.
But anyway, so like, and how the derivatives that have come from it, all these European inspired fantasies, which is great. And then obviously you have a lot of Asian inspired fantasies, or Asian fantasies, Japanese, you know, anime, and like all sorts of things. But so between, there's like almost nothing in between those two. It's like European, or like maybe Chinese and Japanese. And as far as America, I feel like that's kind of what we're exposed to mostly. And I wasn't really, I didn't feel served, that's what I'll come down to. And I felt like there has to be something out there. And I honestly, there is more coming out nowadays. And there's at least a handful of books that are kind of fantasy, but it's almost exclusively magical realism a lot of times too, or gothic. And I wanted something like, where's that just sort of fun high fantasy, YA epic fantasy set in a Latin inspired world? So we decided to make it, and City of Majes was the result.
Yeah,
I like that.
I mean, go ahead.
I was gonna say, can I follow up? Which specific Latin American cultures and imagery really is worked its way into this book?
I think the big one, well, definitely the big one is the Inca inspired eras, like Peru and all that. Yeah. But we're expanding things like to include something that's a little bit more Mexican inspired and all the other things. And it's been fun to incorporate those in fun ways and look into sort of the mythology surrounding each culture and bringing those in.
So as diverse as Latin America, but in the book with different cultures being, I don't want to use amalgamated, but brought into it. That's cool, man. I dig it. What were you going to go into, Manny? You muted yourself.
You muted it.
No, I didn't. Am I still muted?
Oh, something.
I didn't touch anything. No, I was just going to speak on the fact that you're saying it's very underserved. I know Kyle and I have talked a lot about how many times do we have to redo Cinderella, or typecast Cinderella, when there's all these other stories that we can tell that are from our neck of the woods, this side of America, the Americas, heck, even Native Americans. I mean, like that was a huge step to include something like Prey, for example, with Native American influences from years back, and it's done very, very well.
Native American cast, that's just it's awesome.
So the appetite for it is there. I know that there's probably a huge audience of people that are Hispanic that love fantasy, and I think this is great. Do you know any specific things in your how much time did you put into researching specific things maybe that you wanted to kind of incorporate?
It's hard to say because literally we've been working on this book for 2 to 3 years at this point. So a lot of that, we've been to Peru. We got to go around, a lot of the main locations. So it's really hard for me to pinpoint specifically, we put this amount of time, because the way we write, there is a lot of upfront work, but then like you're kind of going back and incorporating ideas based on, maybe pictures that we took or other aspects that we learned while we were there and kind of incorporated into it. So I can't really quantify, but I will say we put a few years into it. And I think as far as drafting goes, that probably took about 8 months for the first draft to be drafted, and then a few months for it to be edited, or maybe a handful of months. So maybe like about roughly half of the time or more was like research in some capacity. But we really tried to do what we can to sort of take what we had from when we visited there and sort of the overall feel of, obviously not the whole country because it's huge, but at least where we were, sort of in the mountain range area.
What was it specifically about the Incas that attracted you guys, that it was like, oh yeah, this is kind of the style that we want to go to as far as building off of?
That's a good question, because honestly, I feel like my initial idea would have been to go more Mexican route, since I have Mexican descent, of native / Mexican descent. I think I have some family who were in like the Texas area, and then some who were like deep into Mexico. And then I'm sure someone from Spain at some point came down and did things. So that would have been the natural, that would have been the natural sort of inkling for there. What was it about it? It was just I couldn't put my finger on it. We kind of just fell in love with the feel of it. Visiting there was just sort of really transformative for us. Everything just felt so like, we appreciated sort of the fact that obviously there's a lot of Spanish influence, but it's also relatively eclectic in nature. Like you have the Quechuans, like the natives who are there kind of interspersed throughout, but also just the random things like you wouldn't expect, like how much Asia has also influenced on some level. Things like fried rice is like a dish that they have there a lot. I just realized how much cross-pollination there is in the world. It just kind of was something I didn't expect. But at the same time, we wanted to make sure that, yes, it is heavily influenced by, Peru and all that it wasn't just exclusively that, but there are other things, fantastical things, and other things from other countries also sort of brought in as well. So that it's close to one-to-one, but I didn't want to make it completely one-to-one, if that makes sense.
I've kind of thought about it right now. Most people, when you hear, especially here in America, because of the border to our south being Mexico, Aztec and Mayan are way more in like the forefront in a lot of entertainment and a lot of things like that. I feel like it's often like history buffs or geography buffs, like people that love that more than just the occasional YouTube video, that really get into a lot of Incan things. So I'm excited to see something that doesn't get as much view in our neck of the woods getting a little bit more of a view. Do you feel that way? I mean, you guys have Mexican heritage and Native American heritage, like Jammer said. Do you feel some of those further South Central American cultures and imagery don't get as much play up here, if you will?
It's a good question. I don't know. It's one of those things where I'm not sure if it's just the circles I run in. because once you start digging, there's a lot of content there. There's a lot of people
Oh,
who
yeah.
have appreciation, and there's a lot of people like in the beta reads who knew right away, because we didn't pitch this as, oh yeah, this is Inca inspired.
Yeah.
You know, but a lot of reviews be like, oh yeah, this is based in Andean cultures, this is based in the Inca inspired, and it's like I hadn't told them that, so clearly
I like that. That's cool.
There's at least some exposure there, enough to where they were able to recognize what it was. So I don't know. It maybe just is the circles we run in, but I know there's a lot of good stuff there for people who do have enthusiasm for like Incan or Peruvian culture.
I dig it. I live off of like Simon Whistler videos on geographics, biographics on YouTube. If you guys haven't checked out his channel, no sponsor or anything, but it's good. It's entertaining, well written, and I love all of that stuff. And like Manny had mentioned earlier, I've been hungry for something outside of Europe and Asian tales. I've been saying, there's a million stories from South and Central America, a million stories out of Africa, and even a million stories out of Asian countries that aren't China, Japan, maybe Korea. We've seen some increase in exposure with things like Encanto and Coco many years back, all super well received. And now we've got the upcoming version of Namor in the MCU being, I'm guessing it's hard to tell Aztec or Mayan, but I'm thinking the Yucatan's got to play a part, so he's more likely got Mayan influence, but it's made up. It's cool.
I was surprised they did that they
Really?
made that change. Yeah,
I think it was a good change. Just
I think it
give
was a
him
good
little
change.
bit more identity,
like,
and make him a little bit more identifiable, I guess, relatable to some people, because Tenoch Huerta is very, very well known and an actor, around the Latin parts. So to see him in that role, I thought, number one, it was great casting because he's great, and number two, it gives the opportunity to kind of start putting that in, put in some lore like we've been wanting for a long time, and it's a great opportunity to do that. I mean, there's comic book writers now like Henry Barajas, who's a friend of mine, who did a book called Helm's Grey Castle, who's taking Dungeons and Dragons types of writing and stories and introducing Aztec weaponry and Aztec stories, even creating maps and stats for people to use, so that you can start incorporating Latin characters in stories like this. I know Disney, they've traveled down to Peru before in The Emperor's New Groove, which is highly loved by many people. That's one of my favorites. I can recite the entire movie.
So good.
Yeah, and so I think with people like that, people like Jammer, starting to really push the issue as far as, these are the stories we want, so we're going to create them ourselves, is a way to really, continue to push that door open, and then get a little bit more time in the light, especially in a day and age in Hollywood where stories are starting to become a little scarce. What are you seeing the most of right now?
New stories, yeah.
You're seeing reboots and reimaginations and sequels and prequels.
But I mean, that's been the case for a long time. That's been the case for
it's been
decades.
I don't want to say decades. The 80s.
It's been since like the early 2000s.
Okay. Well, I guess we are getting pretty old. Decades.
We're 2022. You're old, Manny.
Decades. I'll be older tomorrow specifically, so that's gonna.
Oh, is your birthday tomorrow?
Tomorrow, yeah.
What are you turning?
34.
That's what you said
34.
last week. So.
Yeah, I think so.
That checks out. That's accurate. Consistent.
So, but yeah, it's actually I had no idea that your book had Latin influences in it, and now actually I'm very excited to pick it up.
You should check it out. They got some cool images on the chapter page. Do I have a copy here? Oh, I don't have a copy. Dang it, I should have had a copy ready.
You should have, yeah.
So they have like a watermark image of the character. So there's two perspective characters, and for the character that's falling for that chapter, it has like a watermark of their character design, who's done by, oh my god, Revujo, who has a very distinct style. You can look him up, Revujo. Look it up. He's got a cool style. But anyways,
obviously, to be in love with the genre you've hadn't been inspired by something or someone? What are some of your inspirations that got you this far? Like what authors maybe?
In
what
general,
titles? Mm-hmm.
in general, I'm gonna have to say One Piece is a huge one.
Wow. Okay.
One Piece is huge. Just a lot of like obviously a lot of fantasy books. I grew up on the Redwall books; those are really influential. Lord of the Rings, even though I don't really like it, it obviously kind of had a huge impact. And then it's sort of its derivatives, like Sword of Shannara, which is something I read in like middle school. That I was like, oh my god, this is good. And then I got older. Yeah, and then I got older, and I was like, ooh, that's just Lord of the Rings, except not. And I know since then it's kind of evolved into sort of like this post-apocalyptic type thing. It's really bizarre. I'm not sure if you kept up with that series, but it's weird. It's weird at how it's done that. And I think a lot of series have done that where it's like it's a fantasy world, but no, instead it's post-apocalyptic. I feel like a lot of my inspirations also just manga in general, manga storytelling. Naoki Urasawa, who does some sci-fi slash thriller series like Monster, which is amazing, and Pluto, which is a retelling of a specific Astro Boy arc in manga form, and those are like really good. A lot of Shonen Jump series. So yeah, I feel like my inspirations are largely manga, and that's actually something that is sort of dovetailing into my next project. Of course, like I said, we're working on the sequel to City of Majes, but we also have another one, or I have another one, specifically called Spectral, that is serialized in nature. It's going to be like 8 to 12 or 8 to 10 probably, quote unquote, episodes that are around like 10 to 15,000 words a piece, that are almost structured kind of like a 2000s TV show in a way where it's
you writing a light novel, Jammer? Is that what you're doing?
Maybe a little bit, but I think it might be a little bit different than that. I think it might be closer to a mix of the structure of either like a 2000s TV series slash anime series, mixed in with some, I guess, maybe like novel elements. I know I'm going to have some illustrations in there as well, and then have like chapter titles with like the characters and stuff that I'm really excited about. So I'm like trying to mix and match mediums in a weird way. So I'm like inspired very much by a lot of visual mediums and a lot of films as well. So it's just, I'm trying my best to just incorporate the feel of a lot of different mediums within one.
That's cool. That's really cool.
Dig it. Man. So Jammer, one last time for the people before we chat a little bit of entertainment news. Tell everyone where they can find City of Majes, book 1 of the Mage War Chronicles.
Yeah, so you can find that at magiabooks.com. Again, MAGIA books.com. And you have 4 formats: hardcover, paperback, ebook, and audiobook. I almost forgot the last one. Available on all of those 4 formats. And currently it's on Amazon. Look at my name, AJ Cerna, and you'll find it on there. It's available in 3 formats minus audiobook currently.
Cool. Well, thanks for coming on and plugging that. But now, guys, we got to talk a little bit of entertainment news before we wrap it up. Legendary Entertainment, who is synonymous with Warner Brothers over the last a while. We'll just leave it at that. It's been many years where they've been pumping out movies with Warner Brothers distributing, and now it seems, since the contract is coming up, that they might want to leave, given kind of the things that have been going on at Warner Brothers now. Warner Brothers Discovery. Deadline reported on this, and they confirmed that Legendary Entertainment is eyeing a move from its on-again, off-again home at Warner Brothers, as its deal with the studio is expired recently. Reps for Legendary and Warner have declined to comment at this point. Deadline also reported there was some kerfuffle with the Warners during the whole Jason Killar-led project Popcorn. That was the whole put everything on streaming. Just streaming is the future. We'll worry about sustainability later stuff. That put Dune in theaters and on HBO Max. Jammer, since you're our guest here, man, what do you make of this situation?
It is really good that their contract didn't go away last year, because otherwise I think they would have been gone already. I'm not really sure what to make of this, because it's like I could see it going a bunch of different ways. Right now, I believe isn't the front runner Sony is one of the front runners,
and I'm Paramount.
Sony and Paramount. I think they mentioned that Sony they're angling a little more towards them than they are with Paramount, which I think would be interesting, and I think could be good for Sony if they were to bring them in to kind of help diversify their catalog of films and make them a little less pathetic. That would be kind of cool. But anyways, I could see it going in a million different ways, because on one level, it's like, Warner Brothers, you screwed us out of money because of Project Popcorn. But also, that was the previous regime. That was David Kolar, and now you have Zaslav. But I'm curious, because he's been making a lot of big decisions, and I don't think, the shareholders have been too pleased with what he's been doing. So is it enough to make, are they going to have conversations with him and he's going to say like, no, it'll be fine. Once we get some momentum behind us, we'll be going. Like, it'll be a good moment to kind of see how his, what's the word I'm looking for? His deal making skills are for this type of problem. I think this will be really telling as to who we're dealing with, if he can keep Legendary back in the picture. I don't know whether or not he can, but it's not off the table. I think I would be a little bit surprised if they left, but at the same time, it's also like writings on the wall. So like, I'm basically being really contradictory here, because I have no clue. I have no idea. And I think it's just really hard to tell in the current landscape.
Well, Manny, I'll taking what Jammer said, and I'll say we do know that Legendary definitely wants to make money off of its movies, and everyone except for Sony has their own make money off of them. Theaters, actually make money, and other than Sony, everyone else has a streaming service that they are trying to prop up. And then, of course, now Warner Discovery being like, "Hey, we're gonna pull back on the streaming stuff." Do you think they might actually stick it out with the new regime?
Well, here's the thing. More theater friendly? They might have not been happy with it, but I think the streaming theater at that time, it was necessary in order to keep some momentum going, because you were having a number of people who were not going to the theaters. Period. You had to get the film out to people. You had to monetize it somehow. And unfortunately, at the time, pandemic time, that was the best way to get the bang for your buck for Warner Brothers.
But they didn't tell Legendary about it before they made the decision.
They didn't tell anybody. They told
Gal Gadot, they should have told everybody. They should have told these people and made these deals.
So that part of it was a mistake. The way they delivered it was absolutely a mistake. But the decision itself to do that at that time was a great idea. I think overall. I think that the partnership between them and Warner Brothers, though, is I think it's good as far as branding goes. Warner Brothers and Legendary kind of go hand in hand with the type of films that they release. I think it works with Paramount also, but Legendary and Sony, I almost feel like they'd be taking a step back. They don't.
Wait, how could Sony possibly do anything?
I think it's talking about Legendary.
Back?
I think.
Oh,
Legendary.
yeah, that would be a step.
No, that would be a step back for Legendary. Sure. Like, what kind of decisions or influences would they have on a?
Oh God!
Like, I don't want Sony touching Dune.
Amy Pascal's.
They're not touching Dune. Dune is already going through.
That's true.
I know, but it's just a kind of
an example.
Yeah, like going
Amy
forward,
Pascal's Godzilla movie.
Yeah, I don't want a Sony movie where a Godzilla movie where being touched by Sony.
Here's the thing. I think Sony is better when it doesn't have to do with Marvel.
What about
Resident Evil?
Oh, that's a good point. That's a good point.
I mean, it seems that they cannot handle franchises very well.
That's fair.
and so I cringe at the idea of Sony and Legendary working together. I think they'll work it out. I think more than anything, they're flexing their muscle because they do bring a lot of good titles that people want to watch. Godzilla and Dune are films that are going to get people in theaters. But
I
being
hated
that they're
Godzilla movie.
being
Kong versus Godzilla was so bad.
it was all right.
What?
The Kong vs. Godzilla movie, I enjoyed it.
I hated it. I watched it the first time and I was like, this is not good. Maybe I'll watch it the second time, it'll be better. I watched it the second time, I was like, it was worse. It was worse.
I don't think it was. Nah, I enjoyed it.
Bad.
It was King of the Monsters. I think is severely underrated. I think too many people. I don't know. When it comes to the Godzilla and Kong movies that are all connected. The original complaint about was it 2014
Not enough Godzilla.
Was not enough monsters, and then King of the Monsters, they put a crap ton of monsters. I dug it, and they managed to balance some of the human elements and drama with it, but man, monsters, yes. And then people complained about that. It's like when people complained about Superman Returns being boring, and then Man of Steel comes out, and they're like, "Where's our Donner style Superman?" Right back there, like Brandon, Ralph, Ruth. What? That's your Donner super. You. People don't know what they want.
No, they really don't. It's funny. It's all these Snyderverse people who just won't go away. They won't go away, man. And so now you're seeing that executives are like, yeah, we should have never done that. Yeah, you should have never done that because
I'm happy they did. That movie was great. I love Justice League.
I like that 4-hour movie. I don't care what anyone says because that's maybe the only time, and I don't know how long I'll be able to see a good portrayal of Darkseid, or the only portrayal of Darkseid on the big screen. Hell, it
wasn't he on Harley Quinn? How dare you?
Was he? No, that doesn't count. Everyone's in Harley Quinn, especially Bane. But yeah, people don't know what they want, and I think back to what we're talking about. I think Legendary just has the upper hand right now, and they're letting Warner Brothers know about it.
You think they're going to go back? They're just kind of like playing hard to get right now. Being like, see, I can leave at any moment.
So if there's any moment for them to play hardball, then now is the time. So, and also, I mean, if your contract's up, why not test the waters and see what other offers are out there? Business is business in the end. And if they can cut costs maybe, or they can get a better deal, bring it back to Warner Brothers too and haggle them. It's business. It's just business. And being with how desperate right now Warner Brothers is to not continue to screw things up, this is one they can't afford to lose, because that'll cause headlines again. What are they doing? What's in that? It's just overall, it's just been a bad look. But it doesn't help that their actors and their films are just falling apart. Don't worry, Darling has what's going on behind the scenes
with Olivia Wilde and Shia LaBeouf and
So the whole thing that Florence Pugh is no longer going to be doing PR for the film because she's having issues, supposedly, allegedly, with Olivia Wilde, because of the fact that insiders are saying that she was being very, very open about her relationship with Harry Styles while she was still having like Sudeikis and the kids coming on set. And things like that were making her uncomfortable, and people on set.
Olivia Wilde having a relationship with Harry Styles?
Yeah. Because they're together. And then the whole thing with her saying, yeah, we had to let Shia LaBeouf go because he was toxic. And to some degree, though, I mean, he has that reputation of being really a method actor. So people were like, okay. And then Shia LaBeouf pulled out the receipts and was like, nope, this is what happened. So. And so all the drama behind the scenes of that movie. Oh, and also that's the movie she was promoting when Sudeikis handed her divorce papers on stage at CinemaCon.
On stage? Seriously?
Yeah, at CinemaCon. She received it. Look it up. She received a envelope.
She served right there.
She was served on stage.
And allegedly, the only reason that happened, it wasn't, I don't want to say too much, but allegedly it wasn't intended to happen there. Like, it seemed like she was allegedly kind of dodging the serving, and that was the only place to like lock down. Yeah, she'll be there at this time. But of course, there's like accusations that it was planned to be embarrassing and all of that, allegedly.
Well, if she was doing the things that she's alleged to be like, hey, fair, fair game, fair game.
Jeez, I hate this drama. This is awful.
Well, all that drama. I'm like, is this gonna be better than the movie then? Because this drama,
the movie looks fantastic.
I love Florence Pugh, and I think that Chris Pratt's gonna be good. Yeah, it's true. That's a very fair point, Kyle.
Fighting with My Family is a movie.
Wonderful movie.
I suggest everyone watch, whether you like Florence wrestling or not.
Yeah,
it's great.
I didn't know that.
She plays the girl that would become Paige, her stage name Paige. Dude, Jammer, check that movie.
I've been meaning to check it out ever since theaters.
It's
about theaters, but I just haven't gotten to it.
Yeah, Midsommar.
Christine, I was gonna say Christine liked that one, and she doesn't give two flying shits about. Is it pronounced
Midsommar? I thought it was Midsummer.
I thought it was Midsommar.
I don't know.
I never saw it. Those movies creep me out.
Well, I mean, yeah, they're supposed to. A24 makes fantastic films.
Yeah, they're weird. Weirdos.
All right. We can put a pin in it there, guys. We're coming up on, now we're over 40 minutes. So Jammer, thanks again, man, for coming on and talking some fantasy, sharing your book and all that with us. You guys can go to lrmonline.com every day for all entertainment news, needs, and opinions. Our written reviews, articles, things on news leaks and rumors all go up on the website, as well as the celebrity interviews available on the LRM YouTube channel. All of our podcasts are there as well. You can find them on your favorite podcast apps, Google, Spotify. We are on and distributing through sounder.fm now, genreverse.sounder.fm, so you guys can check out there. If you listen on Apple, leave us a review. That would be great. We do have a Discord that you guys can also join. Link in the description box down below, and you can come and chit chat with us. We got rooms for the podcast, rooms for the different topics that we discuss and things like that. Check it out. Lots of fun. All the audio goes up in video format where you can see our lovely faces, and as well as reaction videos. So Daily Cog, Breaking Geek, Marvel Multiverse Mayhem, The Cantina, all of those are on in video format. And then we have AVR Squared, which is anime reactions, and the Genre Shot trailer reactions. So yeah, Jammer, where can people find you at?
You can find me on Twitter at Jam the Writer, and all of my books at Mahia Books. Well, not all my books. All my books under the name AJ Cerna on Amazon or Audible, and then also mahiabooks.com, where you could find Sigid Mahis.
Manny, what about you? Where can people find you at?
Manny Gomez Media on Twitter and on riddlemetis_510 on Instagram. Just wanted to remind people that Saturday is National Cinema Day. So if you're close by to Mayan Cinemas, AMC Theaters, Regal Theaters, $3 movies all day. That is all formats too. So if you want to check out a 4DX movie, an RPX movie, Dolby Atmos film, depending on the different theaters, chains have different theater rooms, and Saturday's going to be the day to do it. $3 movies all day, including a re-release of Jaws in IMAX, which I think we're gonna go check out, because that is a film that
cool.
has inspired
IMAX
a lot
Jaws.
of people.
Yeah, that does sound the deep water scenes and so yeah, that sounds pretty cool. All right, guys, I'm at that Kyle Malone on Twitter. Go support your local theaters. Have a good one.